So I just finished watching Misaeng, a Korean TV drama that I found buried in Netflix, and I gotta say that after finishing season 1, it has probably cracked my top 10 favorite series of all time. This is 210 East, and I'm back with another review. Misaeng, which is based off a webtoon series of the same name, follows the lives of office workers at a company called One International in South Korea, focusing mainly on one character, Jongre, who is just beginning at the company as an intern. Although he is essentially the main character and narrator of the show, other characters are also focused on and get a chance to narrate as well. The word itself, Misaeng, or the incomplete life, is a Korean word used in the terminology for the popular game Go, literally translated as not yet. The connection to the game of Go is very important to the narrative of the show, and is used as a metaphor for many of the themes that appear throughout the development of the story. Since premiering in Korea in 2014, Misaeng has become extremely popular both in Korea as well as Asia in general. The subject matter of everyday office work was feared to be something that would keep the show from having enough drama and perhaps even coming across as boring. However, this would prove not to be the case. The massive success and popularity came as a surprise not only to the network, but the show's creators and actors as well. With the airing of each episode, the show became more and more popular, breaking network ratings left and right. In recent years, it has made its way onto Netflix and to Western audiences, and I am so glad that it did. As of now, Misaeng is one season long, but has 20 episodes, each at least an hour long. So if you find yourself loving it, feel free to binge. It definitely has enough to keep you satisfied for a while. Now that you know a bit more about the show, I'll move on to why I think it's so great. One thing I want to stress right off the bat about watching the show for the first time is please get past the first action sequence. It is not, I repeat, not an indicator of what the show is all about. This sequence, as you will find out, is a flash forward in time that will only be contextualized and explained later on. So while it might seem random, out of place, or confusing at first, don't worry, it's all a part of the story. But remember, if you see the first sequence and you think, whoa, action-packed show, then don't be fooled because there is very little, if any, action in that sense in the show in general. On the other hand, if you see the sequence and think, oh, lame action scene, generic, no substance, stick it out. There is way more to the show than that. I'd say that if you finish the first episode completely and you don't like it at all, you probably should call it quits there because you're not cut out for this show. A couple of other fair warnings in advance. If you're just in it for the romantic pairings, then this might also not be the show for you. You might be waiting for some big payoff in the form of characters hooking up, but the show really isn't about that. It goes a lot deeper than just sexual attraction or surface level relationships. Also, keep in mind that it has a TV-14 rating, meaning there won't be any sex scenes. The show doesn't overly sexualize itself to be appealing. Well, okay, wait, that's out of context, trust me. There is a real innocence to the characters, a wholesomeness and pureness that you just don't find with a lot of American shows these days, where cynicism and over-sexualization can be so embedded within TV shows and movies. There is also a lot of business talk, so be prepared for that. But I promise, underneath it all is a very sweet and heartwarming story. Despite the subject matter of everyday life as an office worker possibly being boring, I think that it's a subject that people from all over the world can relate to. Aspects of adult life that translate anywhere you go. Working a 9-to-5, office politics, being the newly hired worker, bosses, interns, chain of command. Each episode tends to center around a specific business project. Through the story, these projects and the obstacles or opportunities they present to the characters helps develop their relationships. Each storyline is beautifully woven into the bigger picture and has its own purpose. There is a density to the show, to be sure, which might be too much for some people to stay with, but so much of the mass in that density is quality, great storytelling, acting, and production. As a viewer, you are fed emotional payoffs in little doses, moments that you can savor that help build your love for the characters and what they go through. and that are far more rewarding than you might think. It's the little things, guys. The biggest selling points of Misaeng are its investments in realism and character development. Watching this show can be a methodical process. It definitely won't be for everybody. It's real life. And real life, as you know, can sometimes be mundane or disappointing. The characters won't always succeed or do the right thing. They make mistakes, and there's many instances where you feel like you know what's going to happen based on Hollywood expectations for instant gratification and payoff, only to be brought back to the real world, where everything doesn't always turn out how you want. Even so, this show is heartwarming and manages to create an effect on the viewer which makes them feel like they are going to work every day with the characters. And although the hour-plus long 20 episodes might in fact actually feel like work at some times, in the long run it will be a job that you love, and one that pays off by putting you in a really good mood after watching it. It's a show about friendship, life, achieving your goals, working hard, making your own decisions, and living with the results. It will make you fall in love with the characters and find yourself wanting to root for them as they evolve and grow as people. Each character really comes to life, and once you're deep into the show, you feel like you know them all so well. You will feel like you're part of the office too. One thing that I think is a really important factor for recognizing good shows is whether it creates its own aesthetic that the viewer can appreciate or learn to appreciate. And Misaeng definitely achieves one of its own. If you let it, it will romanticize office work and office life, and the trials and tribulations of trying to reach your goals. When I finally finished the show, it fucking killed me. I got that classic feeling you get when you finish something you were so invested in that everything feels so empty without it. That, so what do I do now kind of feeling. So while you do at times have to really stick it out, as Mr. O would say, stick it out until the end. This show is a true gem, and I can't say enough about how good of a show it is. Although by this point, you probably would say I have. So I'll just stop there. That's my review, guys. Hope you enjoyed it. But one last thing before I finish up. Some good news for fans of the show. Season 2 is happening. Without spoiling the plot of Season 1 for newcomers, I'll just say Season 2 will pick up where Season 1 left off, and will focus on the new chapter of Jean-Grey's career. An article I read said that the show has plans to continue over a span of 3 years, and will have in total 236 episodes? What the fuck? Okay, I'm gonna leave that alone for now. Anyways, I also heard that there is a possibility that the show will be remade into an American version with life on Wall Street as a possible parallel subject matter. But I don't really give a shit about that. Even so, this show, the original Korean show that is, deserves way more popularity in the West. With that being said, I hope you check it out, and if you enjoy it, thank me later. This is 210 East. I'm out.
TVN 8주년 특별기획
그래도 살만한 인생 미생 10월 17일
첫 방송